Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. And once again, it is the Barnes and Tony Show. Anthony, how are you on this fine Wednesday morning?
Doing pretty good, dude. Happy hump day. Let's go. I got my coffee here Wednesday morning. Love that. Had breakfast this morning. Feeling pretty good, dude.
It seems like you're turning over a new leaf. I feel like we talked about this last week, getting that coffee and breakfast pre-show.
Yeah, well, Mike brought me this coffee Wednesday mornings for the past, I don't know, a couple of weeks now because it's a long day. Cook out at night.
Mm-hmm.
I make some breakfast in the morning, bring it in for Mike and Renee. So he got me coffee today, which is great, dude. I'm loving it. It's just nice and hot, dude. Nice hot coffee. We'll get you going, dude.
And if we talked to Craig about the comment section, have we had a conversation with him?
I will mention it to him again today.
I know he's watching right now, so he's picking up on it.
Definitely watching, dude. I know.
Yeah.
That's how he learned to be on air from you, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, it's like, we're all anxious out of here. I haven't checked the numbers this morning, but I think there was a big spike in Bitcoin. But big spike,
really?
Geez, it wasn't that long ago. I was telling you, if you bought Bitcoin at 30, then it got to 60K, you could have doubled your money. And then here we are. We're not even at 30. We're at like 28. So we're all patiently waiting, and we just want the Craig answer on when the bull run will happen. Where are you? Right? Is it not a fair question?
No, it's a very fair question. You should, dude, be persistent. Ask him again tonight. Bring it up again.
No, and I know he's obviously, very, very professional, of course. Like,
right.
What are the chances though? Like, I really get after it with the question and like the enthusiasm. Maybe a couple comments that we could get like him to crack a smile about it. You know what I mean? I know it's very business-like on the show.
Honestly, because it's you. And now it's like the late night too. Yeah, I think you got a good kick out of it, dude.
Yeah. So that is good stuff for sure. So much to discuss today. But
really?
As we do on the eve, Tony, of any golf tournament on the PGA Tour, we do a full preview. And obviously, as we talked about the other day, we do have Connecticut's own, the Travelers Championship, beginning tomorrow. TPC River Highlands, Cromwell, Connecticut. I would imagine maybe from here 45 minutes. So very close by. In a beautiful course. I know my dad was able to play there a couple years ago. I've never been able to.
Town.
Private course,
right?
But he had an opportunity through work. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it in person for the first time.
How did your dad do
on Sunday? I think it was just it's tougher, obviously. For the pros, you look at historically scoring wise, they do pretty well there. But obviously for a regular golfer like me and you, it's going to be quite the challenge. And so just to kind of give you a little history lesson, on the Travelers Championship, I mentioned scoring, and, the record here is 258, which was done by Kenny Perry in 2009. To par, the best score. I'm guessing they've changed the configuration of the course because this goes back to 1982. Tim Norris was 25 under par. Last year's winner, Xander Schauffele, was 19 under par. And if we go back to 2015, winning scores, 19 under for Xander, 13 under for Harris English, 19 under for Dustin Johnson, 17 under for Ches Reavie, three-time champion Bubba Watson, 17 under in 2018. Jordan Spieth, who holed out from the bunker in a playoff back in 2017, won at 12 under. That was one of the lower scores we had seen of recent memory. Russell Knox in 2014, minus 14. Bubba Watson, minus 16, which was his second Travelers Championship win back in 2015. So common theme here, we're well over 10 under par. So you're going to see some low scores here. I know in the past I've seen the cut line being that like after the first two rounds, you got to be at like -5, which is pretty crazy because I believe the US Open, the cut was 3 over this past weekend. So you think, that's a 7-stroke differential. So definitely a very player-friendly course. And since this tournament, has started slowly but surely, the total purse, it has crept up. And if we go back to the first Travelers Championship in 1952, Teddy Noel won $15,000. Tony.
Wow, dude.
Or no, $2,400. The purse was $1,500.
Oh my God.
Or $15,000. Sam Snead and Arnold Palmer won this tournament in consecutive years in 1955 and 1956. So you think, the winner getting $2,400 in 1952. Last year, Xander Schauffele got $1.494 million. And how about this year? Purse up to $20 million with a winner's share of $3.6 million. All of that courtesy of the Elevated Event Series.
Imagine if the guys, back then in the first ever Travelers was getting paid this much.
I mean, they wouldn't have believed it. In 1952, old Teddy Noel, he would have not believed it. And, we talk about, the history of the tournament, the purse, the winning score. Another common theme with this tournament is a strongly attended event. It is the second most attended PGA Tour event behind only the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And the tournament set a record back in 2002 with nearly 400,000 fans for the week. So, I mean, you just think about all of that. I mean, that is a very strong, well-attended event. And it's crazy to think, I know this is an elevated event, but it's not a major. And to think about how many more people will be at this event than they were at last week's US Open.
How many people were at the US Open?
I think they said for the week, they only sold like 9,000 grounds passes and 14,000 hospitality, and not all those were sold or they're corporately bought.
Right.
So not everybody came. So I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, we will see on television. I'm sure Jim Nantz and Trevor Immelman and Ian Baker Finch will do a great job with Dottie Pepper, Tony, down on the course, not up in the 18th tower.
No.
But we've talked about it. Nothing like a CBS broadcast. And I know your exposure was very limited this past week with the US Open. Any difference you noticed with the NBC coverage? Tight?
No. Honestly, I don't know. It was tough for me to notice anything different just because I didn't see the broadcast a lot. For the most part, it seems pretty similar to CBS.
But what about just like the Nantz call? Are you a Nantz guy or no?
Yeah, of course I'm a Nantz guy, but I don't think I've watched enough really to be like, oh, like this is really what I like about Nantz. This is what I don't like. This is what I prefer, sort of deal. So again, like right now, it's all good to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But I think as you watch more and more tournaments,
I'm sure
pick up something. And I mean, just generally speaking, I mean, my whole thing with really anything, but specifically, broadcasting, podcasts, radio shows, the whole thing we want is energy. And I feel like Jim Nantz, whether he was doing the Final Four, whether he's doing the Super Bowl, whether he's doing, the Masters, it's the same excitement level.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes him a Hall of Famer, a legend, and one of the best to do what he does.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It is about the excitement, dude.
I forgot. Did you see I think it was when Nick Taylor, when we were at the Horseshoe, made the long putt, and I posted the call, and then somebody was chirping me about how it was so over dramatic about Nance. Cause I was like, the Nance call, and all these people on Twitter. I mean, you saw earlier this morning the person about, I was talking about how Brito was getting called up.
Oh yeah.
It's just like these people on Twitter. It's like, it's so pathetic. I mean, those are the prefers of the world, hiding behind a screen just, that's what they get excited for. Just chirping on Twitter with no basis, no backbone.
Oh yeah,
but that's what it is.
Pathetic
right?
people. Yeah, really, dude. Shame.
So, just to give everybody an idea, we know, all the big names are here in Cromwell this week, but just to go over it, you got world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, you have defending champion Xander Schauffele, a personal Tony favorite Victor Hovland, last week's runner-up Rory McIlroy, Patrick Cantlay, another Tony favorite, John Rahm, Tommy Fleetwood, fresh off that 63 in the final round of the U.S. Open, Tom Kim, Colin Morikawa, Ricky Fowler, Russell Henley, Harris English, a former champion, Sahith Theegala, Brian Harmon, who had a great start to last week's tournament before fading down the stretch, Adam Scott, as well as last week's U.S. Open champion, Wyndham Clark, another Tony favorite, Tony Finau, and then 2 guys that are struggling, one more so than the other, but Max Homa and then Justin Thomas, who almost finished last in the U.S. Open last week. So big names, guys that are hot, guys that are struggling, but we know that this is going to be a tightly contested event. And, there's going to be most likely, when you think about a course that, is very player friendly, you would think, low scores, talented golfers. And, I listed off and, sure, some guys, weren't the who's who, of golfers, but at the same time, we've seen a lot of talent win these events. And I believe, is it Michael?
We have a phone call here. Michael, you on the line right now?
Who's who? Who's they?
Yeah, dude.
Are we talking car wash, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, right now? Really?
That's what this call was for?
Yeah. The quick side story for the boys.
All right, dude.
So, and actually, it's always about the karma, right? So, I'm at I forget what the place is called, honestly, but it's on the corner of Andros Diner and that whole
that little car wash, right?
Yeah, and it's a good system they have there. You pay the membership, you get everything for free.
Nice.
Like extra this, extra that. So I get there early, Brian. You know me, like why? Because the traffic's crazy. Ask Tony. It's ridiculous sometimes.
I'm sorry. Which car wash is this?
By Andros Diner.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the name right here. It's Russell Speeders Car Wash. All right. Shout out Russell Speeders.
Okay.
You get free air fresheners, the free wipes, the free this, the free that. Okay, you get everything.
Beautiful.
But so there's a system. So I figured out you go there early, you get your vacuum in before, like while they're not even open, boys. Right? They're not open technically. But I'm friends with the people working. You know me. Hey, what's your name? Logan Wolverine. Right? He's my boy now. Right?
Yeah.
He's my boy. It ties into this story now too. Why you should be nice to people out and about. And so I vacuum, I do my thing. And then after, all you have to do is just wipe basically instead of having to do, it takes a while to clean your car, So, plus there's people waiting, there's a little pressure. So I go through and I pull off to the side and I'm wiping my car and this guy starts honking and I'm ignoring it because I'm like just thinking it's a car in the street. And he's honking more. He goes, "Yo, motherfucker!" And, I swear to God. And I look up and I'm like, "Me?" He's like, "What the fuck?" I like that. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's pointing to the vacuum. I'm like, "I'm wiping and I'm vacuuming, right?" Just like that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't vacuuming because I was done vacuuming, but still, like, I'm almost out. You know, you could wait. I'm the person you would want to wait for because I'm not vacuuming.
Right.
So he literally is like, fuck you. Pulls up right in front of my car, dude. Like, right in front of my car. And he's like, giving me the finger. And I'm like, there's a moment in my brain where this is happening fast, right? It's like milliseconds. And in my head, I think to myself, Mike, you could either be aggressive here or you could just kill him with kindness. And I literally started smiling at him. You guys would love this, like almost kind of like crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'd hate to be you too, dude. And I just kept saying that, right? And he got out of his car. He went to go get the wipes, and I walked over right behind him because I needed to get new wipes. And I think he thought I was going to fight him. And he turns around and he's like, doesn't say anything. And I'm smiling, big smile on my face. And I go, I would hate to be you too, dude.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
dude. And guess what? He starts complaining to Logan, and Logan tells him, he's like, he's here first. He's got the right of way. If you don't like it, you can leave. And Logan's like, take as long as you want, Mike. I was like, that's right, Logan. Thank you, bud.
Oh.
And it's just so funny because even the other people around me were like, they saw how I handled it, and I had them smiling and stuff. So it was comical, honestly.
That's funny, dude.
When I left, I told him to have a great day at the end.
Oh my God. People are just crazy out there.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, it's 8 in the morning. Literally, it's 8 in the morning because that's when they open. It's like, what happened in your morning already that you hate your life?
Yeah, and I feel like I've mentioned this to you guys before. My favorite thing to do when people are kind of road rage, like honking at you or whatever, I always just go light double tap. I feel like it pisses them off so much. I just go
on the horn. Yeah, really?
Tell me that's not like
that
how
funny,
can they
dude.
keep a straight face when I do that?
Yeah. That's funny,
That
dude.
is hilarious. Yeah, no, it's my story. It was crazy. It was just like, of course, at 8 in the morning. This guy out of nowhere.
And I've always thought too, like more than half the country, a lot of anger issues out there. Right though? Right?
Yeah, dude.
People can't
Definitely.
They can't handle it.
No, they can't.
No, it's crazy out here.
I know,
really
dude.
is.
8 in the morning, bro. Like he woke up angry.
Yeah.
He chose
but
violence.
Something else, like you know what I mean? His wife left him. He lost his job, something like that.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Yep.
No, Bitcoin's stable.
I don't know. Did you hear me talking to Tony for the warm up, Michael, or did you miss it?
No, I missed it. What was it?
No, I was saying I'm riled, like, because you know how like Craig, he's very serious in his show. I'm gonna get him to crack a smile.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a very animated comment about Bitcoin, asking him when the bull round's coming. I'm getting amped up for it.
No, I love Barnes. Those are my favorite comments at Craig O Crypto.
Yeah, dude.
No, and it's like, don't you think if anybody could get him off of his, like serious tone, it's me with like a couple comments. Yeah. So I'm pumped up for it.
I'll see you fellas soon. I'll be back soon. I'm just Dr. Proper Chiropractor.
All right.
All right, cool, dude.
Enjoy, Michael. We'll see you in a little bit.
Get cracking.
Great, Michael C. Theophil.
Wow.
See you fellas.
He's not supposed to talk after that. Anyway, so before Michael had called, I was listing off, the competitors in this week's Travelers Championship.
Right.
You've had some time to do some homework here, Tony. Who is winning the 2023 Travelers Championship?
I think, and it's funny because like I think yesterday you had asked me the early prediction. I guess I forgot it was Tuesday already, but I had said Rory, but then we started talking about players, golfers we think that could go on runs. And I was talking about Victor Hovland a lot. So I'm going to go Hovland here. Again, just like to go over some of the stats. We touched upon some of them, yesterday. He's got, one win this season, but, 17 events played throughout this year. Has not missed the cut once, which I think is pretty impressive there. Top 25 finishes. He has 13. 7 times he was in the top 10. I mentioned the one win. He was a runner-up as well. And again, I mean, you just look at some of his, the body of work this season. I mean, it's, like I said, a lot of it the top 25, but you have a couple ones where he's, 30, 43, 16th, Charles Schwab. But again, I feel like he's just, a youthful golfer who's been always improving his game. And for someone to be like, again, like to not miss a cut, I feel like all season, I think shows a lot of like mental fortitude. Which again, as as we know in golf is more than half of your game, is mental. So I just think, him coming out here, I mean, he's been grinding all season. I think he's bound to get a win and really just separate himself from the rest of the pack here. So give me Victor Hovland.
I like it.
I'm going to say a score. I know there's a lot of 19 unders, but I'm going to say he's 21 under.
I like it. I like the high number. And it will be interesting too. It seems like there probably will be some scattered rain over the weekend, so maybe that slows up the greens a little bit. But these guys are just so good at what they do. It really seems like whether conditions are favorable or not, they're able to dominate courses in ways that we could never imagine. And speaking of a guy who's dominated courses that in a way that we can never imagine. And has struggled for his standards recently, but did close out this past week's United States Open with a 65, 5 under par. Give me John Rahm.
Wow,
to win this one. I know I'm kind of taking Tony's guy here. He's been a big Rahm advocate, all season. But I almost look at it, Tony, as law of averages. I like the way he closed at the U.S. Open, and it's like if he could shoot 5 under at the U.S. Open on Sunday, I mean, what's to say that he won't open with a 10 under to start this tournament?
Yeah, I could see that a lot, dude. I like that pick. Good pick.
So I'm excited about that. And then as and I'm going to say he's going to win at 20 under par, Tony. So we're both feeling, obviously some high score, I guess technically low scores here this week. And this is also a par 70, just like last week. But as we've been doing, I wanted to ask you if you could give me a sleeper for this week. We've done that the last couple tournaments.
A sleeper, like you want someone who's like going to be like, when you say sleeper, like not someone who's favorited, you're saying?
Yes. And also, if you need a second, I do have one in mind, so I could start if you'd like.
No. I'm gonna take a page out of your book. Screw you, Brian. Jason Day is my sleeper.
I like that.
There we go, baby.
So yeah, he I think missed the cut at the U.S. Open. I know he's played this tournament a lot over the years. So I think that definitely is a good pick. And, he's kind of along the lines of, Ricky Fowler, a guy who, has really struggled, over the years, but seemingly, has done better of recent. So it's a guy, a good bounce back candidate. He is 35 years old. Seems like he's been around even longer than that. And I believe he's a former world number one. I know he won the PGA for his only major championship, but of course, won this year's Byron Nelson, which was his first win in 5 years. So a long time coming there for Jason Day. And I wanted to see here too. I know he's played this tournament, a lot over the years, and hopefully I can do this. Okay, yeah, you could do it on here because I'm used to looking at, PGA Tour, the PGA Tour app versus doing it, on the desktop version. But we wanted to see history of Jason Day, at this tournament. So you just bear with me 1 second here. Okay, Travelers Championship. So he's played in it 8 times. He's had 4 top 25s, 2 top 10s, and he's 6 out of 8 in terms of making the cut. Last year he did miss the cut at 5 over. But prior to that, he went tied 10th in 2021, tied 46th in 2020, tied 8th in 2019, tied 12th in 2018. So he's definitely been in the conversation, a pair of top 10s there. So I think that's a good pick. I'm going to go with a guy that is definitely unproven, but seems to be destined, Tony, to win major championships, to win big tournaments. Give me Sam Bennett, the newly turned pro. I know he had a tough finish this week at the U.S. Open, but did make the cut, which was impressive. And I think the level of difficulty being a lot easier this week in Cromwell, I think that will bode well for Mr. Bennett, and those little errors that would cost him greatly at a tougher course will not quite do him in here. So yes, give me Sam Bennett to be a sleeper here. I mean, it would be awesome if he won. I don't know if I'm going to suggest that, but I think, he's a guy, I think he'll make the cut. I'm not sure, but I'm going to say he's going to finish inside the top 15. So be interesting to see how everything pans out for him this week. And one other thing that I wanted to do, and I was talking to you about this before the show. I played yesterday at Sprain Lake in Yonkers, a great course right by Sprain Lake Highway and the Sprain Lake Reservoir. Great sight lines, great condition too for a course, in Westchester. Gets so much play, but was really in very good shape. I had actually a pretty good pairing yesterday. And if you could pull this up, I have not seen this, in the pictures, but if you want to just spell this out, Tony, it's WYKAGYL Country Club. This is in New Rochelle. So the people that I was playing with, they work there. I heard, I guess Mariano Rivera has his tournament there, a very exclusive club. If you look on Wikipedia, it says it's one of the most, it's invite only to join there. And I guess they were saying it's at least $200K to join, plus like an $80,000 yearly fee. I mean, something ridiculous. Looking at these pictures quickly, though, this thing looks impeccable shape. We'll see what happens. I'm not getting my hopes up here.
No, you should.
But one of the guys, they're assistant superintendents there. They said they could get me out there one time, so they got my number. And I told them, I'd love to reciprocate with the Yankee game. They're big Yankee fans, so that would definitely be awesome. I would love to play there, so I'll have to keep you guys posted on that. But it's amazing the networking that can happen on the golf course.
Yeah, it is. It's super dope, dude, to see that. I mean, it's funny because I feel like you always you think of like all the business meetings in the golf course, like you never really think just any other day you could get an in like that. I guess you never.
It really is true.
Because you never know.
You never know when it's going to come back to bite. That is for sure. So
you're gonna be a member now?
No member, but and what do you think? I don't want to be too pressing. So what I was thinking, how long do I give it? Because I want to suggest a Yankee game we could go to, kind of start that way, then being like, when can we get out on the course type of deal. I was thinking maybe Thursday or Friday. Is that?
I think Friday is good.
Friday midday.
Yeah, Friday midday. It's the weekend, whatever. He's probably feeling good. Yep. Like, oh wow, Yankee game. I forgot, right? Yeah, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I was mentioning Arthur Ave. So
let's go.
Fingers crossed for that one. And if you had to give your best pronunciation of that, is it Waukegan, you think?
Let me see
YK,
Waukegan.
They said something like that.
Waukegan?
I was like, what are you talking about?
Waukegan?
I think they thought I was from Westchester or something.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
You look like you're from Westchester.
What makes me look like I'm from Westchester? I'm a Yankee fan. Oh man. And then there was this other guy who lived in New Rochelle that actually was riding in the cart with me. And very, very nice guy. And he runs a staffing agency for some physical therapists. He's actually from the Philippines. And he has all Philippine PTs working for him. Very nice guy.
Cool.
So he said he'd be down to play another time as well. And then I was telling you, Tony, before the show, and I know it's so out there, so ridiculous. But hey, just turned 31. We've seen Phil Mickelson win a major championship at the age of 50. I want to do whatever it takes to have a chance to get into the PGA Tour. Maybe I just need to win a qualifier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to, I can't, the Corn Ferry,
right.
And the Q School, I feel like that's going to take too much. But if I could just get the game and just have all I need, I think the qualification is either over 1 or 2 days. But if I could somehow bust through one of those and just get entry into a PGA Tour event, Tony, I mean, are you kidding?
Where are the qualifiers? Are there any in Connecticut?
They're local, yeah. Like, and for this tournament, we'd have to look it up where they are. But they're definitely in the surrounding area of the course. And listen, by no means am I saying I'm anywhere close. I would say, I mean, I think it feels like this is even being aggressive, but I feel like I need at least 5 years, just because you know what I mean. Like I'm like okay, like pretty frequently, we're in the mid to upper 80s, but to win one of those qualifiers, I mean, you got to be in the mid 60s. So that's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah. You got to lose 20 strokes, Brian.
20 strokes. It really is ridiculous because when you're out there, it seems like, wow, like I'm playing pretty well. I got a bunch of pars and stuff, but it's like, these guys just don't mess up. I mean, it's just amazing. But everybody you talk to that's in tune, with these professionals, they say it's just thousands, Tony, thousands of swings every day.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
But
can you do it?
I could do it, but I need PGA Tour Professional of the Year, Michael Breed,
Shinnecock.
Who has his show every day, A New Breed of Golf on PGA Tour Radio. Wow. I need like an instruction by him. I'm sure his lessons are sold out for years, but hey, you never know until you try, right?
Maybe you'll find him on the golf course.
Yeah, maybe. I know he lives in New York, so
really,
that's definitely a possibility.
Are we all good with the hand now?
Is the ceiling coming in, Tony?
Dude, it might.
The hand is still a little inflated, but we're getting through it. It doesn't really bother me during the round. It's more of like just if I feel around like the knuckle, it can be a little inflated, but or swollen. Right. But yeah, we're getting through it. So we'll have to fill you in on today's, or I guess this afternoon, the round at Smith Richardson Golf Course. So I am hoping it's so out there, but the course really isn't that hard. I want to go career low 82. We were 84 yesterday.
That's very impressive.
Had a couple blow-up holes, so you think a couple strokes here and there. 82, and we keep getting closer and closer to an acceptable number to qualify for the Travelers Championship.
Now, you said a couple of blow-up holes. Are we talking like early on where you're not really warmed up as much, or is it later in your day where you're
no I started out par actually.
Really?
just randomly, like,
and you don't warm up, dude. It's not like you're
there's no stretching, there's no driving range, there's no putting.
Do you think that could benefit you if you did warm up with that?
No, I mean, putting and chipping has been very good, so it's like I'm fine with that. And the thing is, I've noticed with the driving range, because you know me, I go at a high pace, so it's like, I'll take a bunch of swings, then I'm tired, I'm sore, it's just like, it's like I want to save those swings for the course. I play frequently enough where I feel like I shouldn't have to do that. And I know pros do it, but maybe I would feel differently if courses had the grass driving range. But I feel like hitting off a mat's a different surface. How is that helping?
It doesn't. It does not.
Swing path, I guess, like a consistent swing path. That's the only thing I mean,
there's such a significant difference from the driving range of the course. It's like there's an adjustment for that in and of itself. So it's like, all right, sick. Yeah. So I'll have to keep you guys posted, but looking forward to the Travelers Championship this week and being there in person on Sunday. Let's go now to the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it! Yep. And Alonso cracks one of the Mets win the ball game! Out of sight!
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Throw deep to left field. There it goes! See ya!
All right, baby. Here we go. Let's recap some Mets tonight as Brian is out on assignment in the hallway here. Real quick, as you can see right there in the scorecard, Mets 2, Astros 4. Series now tied at 1 here. As we'll get to, game 3 tonight of this series. But to walk you through a little bit of this game, a lot of the big narrative, obviously, here, Justin Verlander returning to Houston to play the Astros. First time since he's been back. Okay. They had the ceremony for him yesterday, Dusty Baker with the ring, whatever. Today, dialed in. 2 days ago, last night, dialed in, the pitching, pregame routine, whatever. It's all there. You're expecting big things from him. Honestly, coming into this game, you definitely expect a little bit of a pitcher's duel here with two of supposedly, very highly touted pitchers here. But, unfortunately, Verlander starts out all right. If you really look at, his first inning, for example, he comes out, he gets 2 groundouts and a line out. It's nothing crazy, but, he's working his fastball, he's working his curveball, he's using his slider, mixing up pitches immediately. He knows a lot of these guys on the Astros lineup, and not to mention a lot of them know him as well. But let's get right to the scoring here as we go to the bottom of the third here now. So it didn't take much to the Astros to get to Justin here. But leadoff double by Jokes, four-seamer that was high and away, and he was able to kind of lean and kind of, pull that ball into right field. After that, Myers fouled out at first. Maldonado singled to left. Jokes actually went from first to third on that Maldonado single. And then after that, that allowed Jose Altuve to hit a sac fly to center. Jokes was able really just to jog in to score. And that was off a slider that, again, was kind of blown away. And, Jose Altuve was able to, again, kind of golf for it. And we'll get to some of these hits too. But right after that sac fly RBI, with Maldonado on base, Alex Bregman takes a four-seam fastball that was a little bit, middle of the plate, little away. But he just took that absolutely yard to left field, pulls that 361 feet for a 2-run home run, making it 3-0. After that, Tucker ground up to end the inning. But the next inning again, Framber Valdez, and we'll get to him a little bit more too. But top of the fourth, as the Mets have done so many times in games, where they kind of respond, the next time they're at bat. Unfortunately, you get Nimmo striking out swinging, Sterling Marte striking out swinging, and then Francisco Lindor lining out on a first pitch sinker to end the inning. So just like that, it was a 7-pitch inning for Framber Valdez. And that was really honestly the theme of the rest of the game there. As you can tell by the scoring, there wasn't much more. But fast forwarding to the bottom of the 7th now, Verlander's still in the game here. Again, Jokes leads off just like in the third, reaches on an infield single to third base. Myers strikes out swinging. Maldonado grounded out to third. Jokes goes to second. Jose Altuve singles to center field. Nim was able to play it, but Jokes with his speed is able to score. After that, Bregman flies out. Thankfully, doesn't hit a home run, but Altuve with the second RBI of the night makes it 4-0, just like that. But then, hey, top of the 8th, the Mets do answer a little bit. Tommy Pham leadoff single off of Framber Valdez. First time someone reaches base on a hit. First time Valdez gives up a hit. Actually, no, I think that was at the 6th. Whatever. Alvarez doubles to center. Pham goes to third. McNeil lines out, but then Connor with a nice sac fly RBI to score Pham. And then Eduardo Escobar, able to reach and hit Valdez's sinker to score Alvarez. But that was really all for nothing right there. But it cuts the lead in half, 4-2. After that, 8th inning, Brigham comes up, gets through the inning, doesn't give up any runs. But then Presley in the top of the 9th comes in to clear up the game for Houston, for Valdez. Marte ground out to short. Lindor lines out. Alonso gets walked, to put the tying runner at the plate here. But Tommy Pham, who's actually been doing pretty well, strikes out swinging at a 7-pitch at bat. Kind of a tough one, too. Swung at a first pitch slider blown away by Presley. Then takes 2 balls that are pretty tight to strike zone. And then again, takes another pitch looking here, a curveball for a strike. That makes it 2-2. Fouls off 2 changeups. And then finally goes down swinging on a low and away slider to end the game there. So kind of tough here. You look at this game and, unfortunately, I mean, the Houston Astros are a really good team. Obviously, we know that. They're 40-34. Framber Valdez being one of their best pitchers this season. And he was just, I mean, he showed he had his best outing of his year last night. His final line, out pitching Verlander in this duel. 8 innings was Valdez. Gave up only 4 hits over those 8 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 Ks. And he threw 94 pitches. If they really wanted to push him, he probably could have pitched a complete game. When you really think about it. But I mean, Valdez, I mean, his slider was just so lethal. I mean, he didn't give up a hit until the 6th inning. Didn't give up a run until the 8th. So, I mean, you can say he certainly did his job. He definitely proved his worth. Like I mentioned, the 9 Ks, the slider alone away had everyone guessing. When they showed his little highlight reel, after the game, I mean, it was just fooling batters, left and right. It seemed, which it sucks when you really want to look at this game because, again, like so many games here, the Mets kind of had it within their grasp. You think of that 9th inning, you would hope that again by the 7th inning, 6th inning. With Valdez not barely giving any hits,
the legend,
kind of
Renee.
Wow, with 2 thermoses,
coffee and water.
Tea and water.
Tea and water. What type of tea?
Green tea.
Throat coat. I don't know if I've ever heard that one.
No, I don't think I have either. Wow, it's medicinal.
It's medicinal.
It's got that medicine in it.
THC in it?
Yeah, dude. Oh, funky Wednesday, dude. But yeah, dude, again, 9th inning, with Tommy Pham up, Alonso gets on base, like even when Door up, you'd expect to get something going.
Right.
Marte leads off, like you just expect to get something going in the 9th to try and score. You even get a runner on base, you were one big swing away from tying the game. For me, it kind of felt like you could have gotten to Presley again. Like, at this point, Framber Valdez was just pitching so well, you were not going to hit him. It was so clear. No one really had an answer for him from the Mets lineup, unfortunately. So yeah, dude, it was super tough, and it sucks because I know you look at Verlander's line. He did pitch some length. Again, another probably your first time back-to-back games where you only use 2 pitchers for the Mets. But Verlander 7 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, no walks, so had control of his pitches, but only 5 strikeouts, and then that 2-run home run from.
Did Bregman do like a little wink as he was running?
No, it wasn't really doing anything crazy.
Did Verlander seem pretty tight?
Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah.
That 3rd inning kind of imploded a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, again, if not for that 3rd inning, he would have had a great game. His line would have looked so much better. But I mean, I don't know, dude. I feel like he's just obviously not the pitcher he was last season, obviously. And it seems like, I mean, the man is a workhorse in the sense where, I mean, he's going out there, he's throwing 94 pitches. He gave you 7 innings. It's not like he got absolutely destroyed. It's not like he really looked like he had so much fatigue. It was just like, the Bregman was like a fastball, kind of over middle, a little bit to the outside.
Crawford boxes?
What?
Did he hit it to lefts?
No, he pulled. Oh, yeah, no, he did. He pulled it.
Crawford boxes,
yeah. And then other than that, like any other hit he gave up, I mean, it was the Astros just being good hitters. It was like they were hitting his curveball low and out of the zone. They were just golfing for it, popping it up, finding a gap in the field and hitting that gap, I guess. Like, kind of sucks that this is the type of loss they had against a good Astros team. And it seems like to me like that this is what the Mets are going to be getting against good teams, even when they're doing well, like the Met, like, again, like this is like Verlander pitched a good game, again, giving up 4 runs. You got to find a way to hit Valdez. You got to find a way to get on base, dude. Like not getting on base till the 6th inning. Like obviously, how's that conducive to winning at all? You have to have better at bats. You got to stay a little bit more patient. I understand you don't see the Astros a lot. You're never in Houston a lot, but I mean, you got to do your homework on Valdez. You got to expect to get those breaking balls that are going to be blown away. I mean, you're swinging at balls that are bouncing off a home plate, for God's sakes, Maldonado isn't catching these balls, it's like you got to like be a little bit more disciplined here as you get these looks at better pitchers. And Verona's got to do a little bit better of staying off the home run ball. I was doing a little bit of research in terms of some numbers here. this season, right? So we have 52 innings. He's given up 8 home runs already. Last season, he only gave up 12 home runs over 175 innings. So obviously, if you come, like a third of the way in terms of less than that, honestly, in terms of what he pitched last season, in terms of innings, and you almost have the same amount of home runs given up. Even walks too, 13 walks over this season. Last year was only 29, obviously, again, he won the Cy Young Award last year. So obviously it's gonna be a great season, but I mean, again, like 12 an entire season last year, already at 8. Like that home run ball is absolutely killing him. It's killing most of the Mets pitching staff, as we've talked about before. But you got to expect Justin Verlander to figure out a way to keep the ball in the park here. Like you can't be giving up a home run like that. I mean, like a fastball where that was located for Bregman. I mean, you basically put it on the barrel of his bat,
And he's slugging under 400 this year.
Yeah.
His 10th home run. He's hitting 240.
Nothing really that impressive from him. And it sucks, dude. It's pretty tough loss again, especially after you score 11 runs the day before. I understand you weren't, Valdez wasn't pitching, but you still got to figure out a way to get some more hits here. And earlier on, dude, like Valdez, like I said, he threw 94 pitches over 8 innings.
Mm-hmm.
You got to at least foul some pitches off. Like give me an 11 pitch at bats at some point, like show a battle. Something, dude. There was no battle, no fight. You're welcome, Renee. There's a surprise in that sandwich, by the way. No, Renee.
You know what I was going to ask you? Speaking of food, who made a mess over there? I saw you picking up the crumbs.
I don't know. Someone was eating pistachios or something.
Do we have a guess, Tony?
Well, I mean, the 3 of us were eating pistachios.
Oh, so it could have been
gaming corner.
Yeah.
But if I had to point the finger at someone,
You're eating pistachios while you were gaming?
you got to have snacks while we're gaming.
Pistachios isn't a thing that you.
Well, in between games,
We
like
can-
the loading screens, we're playing online too. So
Wait, can I take a guess
matchmaking.
who you're going to blame it on?
Yeah.
Jason Libertelli?
No.
Wow.
The man to my left was Michael Theophil. Where were all the crumbs?
No, because I feel like you
Where were all the
enjoy,
crumbs?
like I know you're just kidding around, but you enjoy like the J dig when you can.
Oh yeah, oh definitely, of course. Everyone loves it. Jay Dig, dude. Big day for Jay. I wonder if he's listening. He's in the office today.
In the office.
He goes in the
Okay.
office today.
Okay. So a couple things here. The first with Verlander, we know the ERA sits at 4.5. What is it location command? Is that the biggest thing as to why he's not pitching the way he was last year?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Again, like it doesn't really seem like he struggles that much with it.
Mm-hmm.
No walks last night.
Right.
Like that's impressive. I know his walks are kind of high compared to last season, but it just seems like he makes a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
It just like that one fastball to Bregman, like that was a mistake and it cost him a home run. So just maybe it's not necessarily like that he's like, oh, coming out here struggling with command immediately. But it's just like he makes a mistake where he leaves a ball over the middle of the zone, but then like the next inning is totally fine. Like there was 4 hits, the 4 earned runs. I understand it was in 2 separate innings, but it was like 3rd inning, 6th inning. It wasn't like the guy was struggling the entire game. Other than that, he was causing a lot of flyouts, groundouts.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, 5 Ks isn't a lot for him, but he was efficient. 94 pitches over 7 innings. Like he was fine the rest of all the other innings,
And I think the thing is last year, he was big on getting strikeouts. I don't think he's getting as many as those. He's giving up more home runs. So I think the common thing is, maybe he's not walking a ton of batters, Tony, but did he strike out 300 batters last year? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Or no, that's
Yeah.
2019. Okay. He struck out 185.
Yeah.
300 is insane these days, but
300 is insane.
it must be a location thing in terms of he's throwing too many hittable pitches.
Yeah, and honestly, it's interesting. I think he has to sit down with Scherzer a little bit because Scherzer's last outing, I understand he had issues with his slider, but what he was doing is that he was not relying on his fastball to get him strikeouts a lot.
Mhm.
He was forcing a lot of groundouts and lineouts with off-speed pitches, breaking balls. And I think that maybe that's what Verlander needs to do because, like you said, he loves to hammer the fastball.
Right.
I also think it seemed like last night his strategy was to work the lower part of the strike zone,
Mm-hmm.
and that just wasn't working. Like I said, a lot of the batters on the Astros lineup were kind of digging those balls out of that low part and kind of lifting it for base hits. So I think maybe just overall a change of strategy would maybe help him. Like an adjustment throughout the game, it seemed like he didn't really make in terms of the location of his balls, of his pitches. But yeah, dude, I mean, it is pretty tough. You know, you mentioned obviously the strikeout stuff is not there. Like you said, yeah, I think he is like that fastball again. Like it's 94. Like people's like topping off at 96. You know, we've seen, but you know, obviously batters see pitches that are faster than that. You know, like so that 94 kind of looks more hittable, and they're going to be again like they're not going to be. I feel like no one's going into this batter's box and is scared about Verlander's fastball.
Right.
You know,
right.
He's gonna have to figure out a way to work batters, and you know, get out in different ways.
Yeah. But I mean, do you like where do you? I know it's like we got so much time to go. You know, he's had 9 starts this year. Where do you see his like ERA finishing at? Is that 4.5 now?
4.5 now. Yeah, I would. I mean, if you got it below like anything higher than like a 3.5 is like disastrous.
Mm-hmm. I think 3.5 is a fair guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole run lower. I know, you know, 9 starts in,
like,
compared to
you know,
what, with the contract and,
Yeah.
and all of that. But I do think he's going to pitch better. I think it's a good sign that he's not walking people. And you know, you think back to all the way back to 2017. He had a couple choppy years, so people thought he was finished then.
Yeah.
So I don't think we could rule out the fact that he's gonna like really turn it around compared to what he's given you so far. I don't think we could rule that out.
Yeah. No, I guess not. It's just tough, dude.
And then Houston. I mean, other than Alvarez, who's currently on the injured list, everybody's struggling. Nobody's hitting.
Yeah.
Do you expect their offense to turn it around?
I do think so. You know, like you mentioned, I mean, I feel like
they're in 3rd place in the AL West,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I feel like who's their shortstop? Pena. Dude, is so good.
Right. And he hasn't had a great year yet.
He really hasn't. But I mean, I think in the postseason last year, he was batting like 350.
Oh,
he was
insane.
crushing it.
Killed
dude.
the Yankees.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. So I think it's gonna, you know, give him maybe some more time to find like a better groove. I mean, it's a different atmosphere, obviously, and obviously so tough too for someone so young to come up in the postseason, make a splash, and then try, you know, follow up their regular season here. But I haven't like dove deep into his numbers this season. But I mean, again, like last night, he was making some ridiculous plays at short, like Jeter-esque, like backhanded, like jump turn throw. Like absolutely, like getting people out too. Like it's really impressive. Let's see. Oh, Tucker's been looking pretty good too. Also a man who's like a really good right fielder as well. Let's see. Pena, he's batting 258 home runs, 27 RBI. So yeah, nothing crazy that pops out. The average, I mean, I suppose could be worse, right? So it's pretty solid. I mean, I would expect the Astros to kind of turn it around more in terms of scoring. And again, I think they have a few injuries to their pitchers. I know we mentioned McCullers. Yeah,
McCullers
Garcia
out for the year.
Exactly. So
losing Verlander.
Yeah. Obviously Valdez is a breath of fresh air there. But I would expect them to maybe like pursue like some type of pitcher for the trade deadline to help them, you know, limit runs, help their defense. So I think the Astros are going to stay in contention. I mean, they're a really good team. And yeah, I would expect them to still, you know, push postseason, like have a good year. So
is Altuve cooked?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen enough of him this season to be like he's cooked. I mean, again, he had an RBI last night, a couple of hits, only 3 dingers this season, 10 RBIs. Yeah, not a lot of production in terms of getting runs, but the average isn't atrocious.
Yeah,
264.
He missed. Was it the first month? I think because he got injured in the WBC.
That's right, dude.
Maybe he's getting caught up to speed, and you would expect, you know, them to make the playoffs. But I mean, who knows? And obviously, New York teams, New York markets, there's going to be more focus there. But I was just looking at this. They've scored. You know, we talk about the Yankees' struggles. They've scored 1 more run than the Yankees this year. So it's the same thing that we're going through, they're going through. And I mean, they've allowed what 11 less runs, which is kind of
Astros
interesting.
have.
But I think, I think our bullpen is a lot better. I guess they've had some better starting pitching, and obviously some Clark Schmidt clunkers, as well as Johnny Brito, who unfortunately is going to get the call tonight. Has contributed to that. But definitely, it's fascinating stuff. For sure. And it'll be interesting to see just, kind of wrapping up the Mets and the Astros, the matinee today. Who's going to win this series? Both teams need it in the worst way. And I know, obviously, Mets 500, you would think you need it more. But we talked about it yesterday. This playoff race in the American League is insane.
Yeah.
So every game is just so important. So that'll be fascinating to see. 210, did you say?
210, dude.
Okay, so 210.
Yeah.
We'll get to see that one. Yankees last night, seems like they were listening to yesterday's show.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And my mother actually was the first one to recognize this. She may be watching right now, so I'm sure she'll be riled that I gave her a shout out on this. Yours truly said that it would be 3-1 yesterday.
Really? Let's
Yes.
go, Brian.
So right on the head. And it just so, almost predictable in a sense. Like I talked about Cole being jacked up, and I'm sure we'll go to the video on him with the wagging in a second. But you knew he was going to be fired up. 7 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. So really dominated this Mariners lineup, who only managed 4 hits all night. And the 1 run, an RBI double from Gerrit, the former Met farmhand. But the Yankees got the scoring going early in this one. And unfortunately, and I know, listen, we're happy. We're happy that Cole's jacked up. We're happy that Anthony Rizzo, who started the scoring out with a double to right in the first inning. So once again, the Yankees scoring early in the first inning. It seems like they kind of do that a lot. So that scored Gleyber Torres, made it 1-0 Yankees. Rizzo 3 for 4 last night. So hopefully this is the start of something. And in the second inning, a guy that we talked about yesterday, and I guess maybe I'm not giving him enough credit because right now, we need every blessed run that we could get. Billy McKinney. If you could actually pull up the highlight on this, I guess this was the longest home run of his career to right center, 432 feet. Scored Harrison Bader, who made his return after a stint on the injured list and went 1 for 3. So great to have Harrison Bader back in the mix.
What inning?
No, that's Yankees Astros. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. So it was great to get that lift from McKinney. That obviously was the difference in this game. And
what inning was this?
So this was in the second inning. So they scored the first 2 innings. Don't score the rest of the game. We'll talk more about that in a second. We don't need to see Stanton strike out. He's sitting under 200. I believe this is it. Yeah.
Oh, wait, that was it?
No. Never mind. Okay.
On the second, McKinney. This is McKinney.
Yep, this is going to be McKinney.
Okay.
Bader with the steal. Bad throw there. JP Crawford not able to field it. Wave
not
that
a good
finger, Matthew says.
Yeah, baby. Oh, here we go. All right, cool. Oh, wow. You knew it right
Cranks
off
the bat.
dude.
96-mile-an-hour sinker.
Yeah,
that's
that was
deep to go
dude.
into
Wow.
the second level of the bleachers there. So that got the boys riled up.
Yeah, what a good hit too. Like hit really high on his bat. Like he's just able to pull it. Very impressive, dude.
And then so it was the 7th inning. This was after the 6th where the Mariners got on the board with that Kelnick double. But Gerrit Cole, I believe it was walking off the mound. Yeah, it would be the top of the 7th inning, waving the finger. Do we have the highlight of that?
Yeah, you want to see the wave of the finger, dude?
It should be right now.
Yeah. I got you right here. Wave that finger. Oh, you mother. Bang. Striking out Caballero, dude. He was talking smack, right, all game.
Yep. Caballero or Cole?
Caballero, no?
Caballero.
Yeah.
Well, Cole, too.
Yeah.
But he was responding, and he said this was in response to the manager. But let's see
wagging his finger. Oh, my God, yeah. Like so ridiculous.
Oh, Gerrit Cole's the best. His face after that. 3-2, and he strikes him out 98, low and outside.
Where's
And
the finger?
here is the finger.
Oh,
Are they really not going to show it, or is it right after?
is he in the dugout when they show it?
No, he's walking off the mound, but maybe it's not the 7th inning, and I was mistaken.
There it is, dude.
Oh my God. Wave the finger. That was great. Gerrit Cole is the best. Obviously it's been a tough stretch for the Yankees here, but you know that Cole every night is bringing it. The energy is off the charts. And I guess he said it was the first time ever. I don't know what the reason was, but he said Mariner manager Scott Service kept like chirping him. And he said the first time in his career that's ever happened. I don't know if you heard anything further, or if Rick and Dave talked about it this morning.
No, they mentioned that he was getting chirped at, but I mean, I don't know why. Again, like Rick was talking about, he was like, oh, like maybe they just want to get him off his game, I guess. Obviously didn't work. So yeah, good job there.
No. Gerrit Cole,
good job, bad job.
ERA down to 2.64 through 105 pitches, came out for the 8th for a strikeout before he was pulled. Maybe Boone wanted to get him a nice hand. But then in came Clay Holmes, who has been unbelievable. ERA under 1. His last, I believe it's 19 appearances.
Pretty impressive.
So 1 2/3, no runs, no walks, no hits, 2 strikeouts, 9th save of the year. So we knew coming into this year, there was concern about Holmes, and he didn't have the best start to the season. And me included was calling, for him to be removed from this closer role, but he has really seized the job. That sinker is unbelievable. When he has command, I mean, you really can't hit Clay Holmes.
Right.
So you love to see that. You love to see Gerrit Cole, move to 8-1 with a 2.64 earned run average. I believe last year the earned run average was over 3.5. The WHIP sits at 1.08. All outstanding numbers for Gerrit Cole, as he looks like an early front runner for the American League Cy Young. And I really just feel really good about him. Only 77 hits in 99 innings.
Very good.
I guess the walks are up a tad here. Last year his ball to strike ratio was 5.1. This year it's at 3.5. But I think the biggest thing, and I don't know why they don't show this on here. If you just bear with me 1 second. But I was going to mention, I mean, I'm sure if we looked at the pace, and I guess maybe tail end of last year, is where the home run numbers were bloated. But so far this year, he's allowed 9 home runs in 99 innings.
Wow.
So that's a home run every 11 innings. So not even every start, where last year, 200 innings, 33 home runs. So you have to feel really good, about that. So I'm very confident in Cole, and we're just very fortunate to have him on our team. That's for sure. And up to this point, we've talked over the years, of the Yankee riddle, guys coming from outside organizations, not performing, and he has performed. I mean, you look at his 4 years in New York, he's 44-20. His ERA is 3.17, and he struck out 700 batters in 554 innings. So I don't think you could have hoped for any more. And what's interesting, maybe last year was an abbreviation, because his whole Yankee career, he's allowed 80 home runs, but 33 were last season. So I just think, it was kind of a bump in the road. And, it was his highest earned run average since 2017. So nice to see that. So great bullpen, great start from Cole. Obviously, the thing here still is the offense. I mean, I know we had 8 hits, which is nice. And of course, like I mentioned, it was good to have Harrison Bader back in this lineup. That really lengthens the lineup. Anthony Volpe did have a hit as well, so hopefully he could get something going. But the things that we talked about yesterday still apply to one Giancarlo Stanton, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, getting booed, average at 196. And then speaking of getting booed, Josh Donaldson averaged down to 143.
That's good.
After an 0 for 3 yesterday. Now, of course, you anticipate the Stanton bounce back. Donaldson, maybe not so much. I know Jake Bauers just missed a home run off of his bat. Glaber did have a hit and a run scored there, but struck out twice. So you just need consistency. You know, and just being straightforward here, Tony. I love this win, but I don't like this theme of scoring in the first inning, in the second inning, and then not scoring the rest of the game. So that's what I want to see tonight. That's going to be tough, though, because Luis Castillo is on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
And then to top that off, you know that there's the trickle-down effect. And Johnny Brito coming back from AAA, and the guy was arguing with me on Twitter about how Randy Vasquez, he pitched last night. And I guess do you know the rule on when you send somebody down, when you can bring them back up?
No.
But maybe there's a special circumstance if he's the 27th man. I don't know what the deal is there. So they couldn't bring up Vasquez, who's been great with the Yankees. Great start last time out. But hasn't pitched well in AAA, and Brito has been getting popped in AAA as well. And it's just tough. I mean, I know he had those couple good starts, and I was there for that third game of the season against the San Francisco Giants. But I don't like him starting tonight. I would have rather seen like Devi Garcia in an opening role. Or just like a bullpen game. Brito, I mean, maybe we'll do an opener. I think that did work. I don't know if it was for him or Schmidt. But I know we did do that at one point in the year. So, that's an uphill battle. But I mean, another game where you score only 3 runs. So maybe, you're due to have an outburst. And I mean, I think it was nice that, like, obviously you didn't do anything against the bullpen or after the second inning. But to get Kirby for 3 runs after he thoroughly dominated you last time, didn't seem like there was clarification on that, Tony, huh?
No, I don't know. It sounded like from what it says up here, if the player is optioned off of your 26-man roster, but remains on the 40-man roster, can kind of go back and forth as he pleases, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But if he's not on that 40-man roster, I guess he needs to remain in the minors.
Only one minor league option is used per season, regardless of how many times a player is optioned to and from the minors over the course of a season. Players must be optioned only 5 times per season. After that, it requires outright assignment waivers to assign the player. Out of option players must be designated for assignment. Upon being optioned to the minor leagues, a position player must remain there for a minimum of 10 days before he's eligible to be called to the major league roster. For pitchers, the minimum is 15 days, and he pitched on the 8th of this month, so just missed being able to be called back up. So I guess that's the reason. But, I was saying it on Twitter. It's like the people that were arguing, and I don't know if that's prefer or not. Probably making multiple burners, but
well, it does say at the bottom here, though, if a player is serving as the 27th man for doubleheader or replacing a player who's on the IL, there's no minimum number of days.
So maybe that guy was wrong, because I'm almost positive he was the 27th man.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive.
Okay.
So,
but even so, do you isn't there a way around that in the sense of
somebody's injured,
just
or
throw someone? Oh yeah, he has an injury. Throw him in the IL. Let's bring up someone else.
There definitely is. So that was nonsense. So who's ever chirping, I'd love to see you man up and see your freaking face. All right? But anyway, I mentioned Castillo, Brito tonight, and Castillo 4-5, 2.73. Last time out against the Marlins, 5 2/3, 2 runs, 6 walks, which was pretty surprising. He had only walked 7 batters in May, but he's already walked 8 in June and 6 last start. So, I mean, you look at this, and I mean, the previous start, it was 5 total runs, but 3 earned against the Angels. Great performance against Texas, 1 run over 7. Further back, 2 shutout performances. So, he does have the start, where he gets lit up. And if you combine the fact that maybe Rizzo's out of it, and I know I was at the game last year when he pitched actually against Gerrit Cole, and Cole gave up like 5 runs in the first inning, and it was terrible. Day game during the week. But I think there's an opportunity to do that, but it's just like, is it realistic to hope, Tony, because I know this offense for the Mariners has been inconsistent as well, but to get Brito 5 innings and 2 earned, I mean, is that's feasible?
I think it's feasible, yeah. Dude, 5 innings, 2 earned runs like that, yeah.
So hopefully, we can get that out of Brito. Is a Stanton run?
No.
Okay, elaborate. No to what?
No Stanton run of good, like you want like a slew of home runs?
No, what I'm saying, you think his career is over?
I don't know. Career over. What was he, 32?
33.
I don't know, man. I mean, he just looks completely lost. Like, what? Like, I don't know.
But haven't we
man.
seen that every year since he's been a Yankee? He has that period of time.
I guess so.
But we did go back to last year, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like even so, like within that shitty stretch, there's always like a dinger or something, dude. When's the last time he hit a home run?
Don't look it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have to, like, it's gonna be a while. So I don't know, man. It seems like to me, like, I mean, I don't know, man. I understand it's cool. Like he's 6'5", he's 230 pounds, he's yoked,
245,
like, whatever he is, dude. They're probably lying about that. The guy like kind of sucks, dude. Like he doesn't play the field. He's not a practical baseball player to me. And like, yeah, I mean, you had excuses when he's hitting 30 home runs, but like now he's not, dude. And he's not really offering anything for the team. Like I said, it just seems like he's totally lost the plate. I don't know if it's him, if it's, I don't know, your hitting coach or something. I mean, obviously we've seen some struggles throughout the lineup with other players and things like that. But I mean, Stan, it just seems like, some of the pitches, he looked like the Mets against Framber Valdez every at bat. He's just taking a guess on where this pitch is going to be, and no matter what it is, he's going to be swinging at it. And half the time, it's a breaking ball that's out of the strike zone, and he's swung through it.
So since he last homered on June 13th against the Mets, he's struck out 10 times and has 1 hit.
All right. It's not good. And how many at bats between that time?
9,
2 weeks,
13, 16, 20. So he's 1 for 20.
Wow. And 10 Ks over 20 at bats.
Over 20 at bats. And he homered in 2 of the first 3 games of the year, and then has hit 4 home runs since then.
So what do you want to do with him? What's his contract like?
Baseball Reference is very good for these things.
Yeah, I love Baseball Reference.
But I'm pulling up the contract, but what do I want to do with him? There really isn't anything you do for him because a trade is not going to happen right now.
Value does not look good.
Right. So you have to hope that one of those stretches is around the corner.
Yeah. Do you think it is?
Like, I have a hard time believing that he's going to go complete Andrew Jones on us. I don't know. And then even Andrew Jones ended up, having that run with the Yankees for a little bit and the Rangers and everything after getting cut by the Dodgers from leaving the Braves in free agency. So after this season, 32, 32, 32, 29, 25 with an option in 2028.
Are you kidding?
With a $10 million buyout.
Holy shit, dude.
$10 million paid by the Marlins in 2026 and 2027.
I guess that helps a little bit.
Yeah, but no, he's just he's got to have a good year.
So you have him for 5 more years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, dude.
I know. I know he I just have a hard, like I said, I have a hard time believing that.
Do you think he's gonna be 36 years old and still playing?
Yeah, No, I do. I think he's going to get out of this. There's no excuse. I mean, there was the injury thing last year.
Right.
He missed time with the hamstring this year.
Oh,
He's just an inconsistent player. So I'm going to go out on a limb, Tony, tonight, and I'm going to say first at bat against Luis Castillo, dead center, batter's eye. If I was there, I would catch it with my bare hands. And I think Brito will get off to a choppy start, 2 runs in the first, but rally to go 5. The Yankees will get 3 off Castillo over 6 in the third, and end up winning this one. I'm going to say 5-3. And Harrison Bader will go 3 for 4. So energizing the team. Cole in the dugout, riled up. And the Yankees will win 2 games in a row for the first time in an eternity, it feels like.
wow. Good job, Yankees.
By the way, you had a little choppy night with the picks.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Was it 0-3 or 1-2?
Dodgers lost?
No, okay, so it was 1-2. Yeah, I already updated it.
Yeah.
Okay, but I went 3-0. So the deficit, which was once pretty high, is now only 3. So 22-19. So Yankees obviously being my first pick.
Right.
Hopefully this is the start of a good stretch. I know Sal Licata yesterday was saying Yankees are about to go on a really good run here. He was just named to replace Tiki, who's moving over to the afternoon time slot with Evan Roberts. So it's now going to be a Licata in BT, 2 of the biggest Chiefs in American history. What's going to happen with the Mets this afternoon?
Oh, that's a good question, dude. I got to start, taking these Mets games a little more seriously. I know I said Senga before, but McGill's on the mound. I guess they're giving Senga the extra day. So he's going to pitch.
Yep. They tend to do that.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But McGill on the mound here against the Astros. His last outing was against St. Louis, where he pitched 6 innings, gave up just 1 earned run, which is good against St. Louis. But I mean, you look at some of the other outings against good teams, against even not even good teams. Pittsburgh gave up 7 earned runs in 3 2/3. So I mean, if you really want to look at it like that, I mean, he's given up 17 earned runs over his past 5 starts. So it's not great. ERA certainly, 4.83 right now. Going up against Christian Javier. I guess I'm going to go with the Astros tonight. Just because today, it's right, 210. On top of that, the body clock, the New York Mets. I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem like a good recipe that's going to be conducive to winning. Obviously, I would love them to win. The only thing you can be hopeful for if you're a Met fan right now is the fact that your bullpen is well rested. You've used 2 guys, Brigham and that other guy, I forget his name, the new guy that they brought up. So you have Ottavino, you have Robertson, you have, I guess, Drew Smith is not back yet. But you have most of your bullpen guys here that you can throw out there after McGill probably goes 5 innings, maybe. But I say the Astros are going to win this one. I could see it being a high-scoring game on both sides, honestly. But ultimately, I say the Mets lose this one. I'll say 7-5.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a surprising one. I actually picked the Giants yesterday to run that winning streak to 9. I'm gonna fade that today. Go with the Padres. I just think, come on, the Giants are gonna lose a game eventually. Darvish has been a little choppy on the hill this year. ERA at 4.74. A lot of strikeouts still, 79 over 74 innings, but 10 home runs allowed. So I think he's going to pitch well. For the Giants, they have Ryan Walker, a guy that people probably aren't too familiar with. He's 27 years old. Arlington, Washington is where he's from. And he's actually an opener. So, we've seen the openers, go both ways. But I think Darvish will go 7 strong, 10 strikeouts, no earned runs. In the Padres, Tatis has been hitting
so well.
Soto is tight that Ortiz called him out for not taking that contract. And I think the Padres will blank the Giants, ending that 9-game winning streak. go to 36-38 on the year with a 5-0 victory
All-time classic, Tony.
in San
Wow.
Francisco.
Q Darvish feeling good?
Darvish feeling great.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm gonna take a page out of your book again, and I'm gonna fade the team I picked yesterday. In today's matchup of Dodgers in LA against the Angels here. Shohei Ohtani on the mound. I understand the Angels got shut out yesterday. They lost 2-0. You know, Kershaw on the mound, phenomenal. But I think today, when the Dodgers kind of lose here, undecided pitcher right now. So probably bullpen game. And we know about Shohei Ohtani in terms of his bat, in terms of his pitching ability. Obviously, the entire team seems to play differently when Ohtani's on the mound too. So I'm not too worried about them not scoring any runs today. And I'm trying to see Ohtani's record. He's 6-2 on the season. Pretty impressive there, honestly. So I say give me the Angels. Ohtani with a 2-run dinger. I say Trout gets his 13th of the season, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the Angels win here. I say Ohtani's final line. I'll give him 7 innings, maybe 2 earned runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 Ks. Angels win this one 4-2. Did you actually hear too? The Angels organization said that they are not going to be trading Ohtani at all if they're a contending team.
Yeah, I did hear that.
It's interesting.
So maybe after all this talk, Ohtani stays put.
That'd be kind of ridiculous. All this talk.
You know, we'll see how the rest of the year plays out for them. Third and final, taking the Rangers in the rubber game of this 3-game set against the White Sox.
That's a good pick. Michael
Kopech opposed by Martin Perez. And I just think, despite winning yesterday, the White Sox are just not that good. And, you know, I know Luis Roberts had a decent year, but they are 32-43 for a reason. Texas 45-28.
Mm-hmm.
Perez a little spotty this year, 90 hits, over 77 in a third innings. Michael Kopech has got those strikeout numbers up. You know, they were very much so down last year. 3-5, 3.92, 89 strikeouts in 78 innings, so more than a strikeout per inning. Last year, he was under a strikeout per inning. But I think Perez bounces back. I think the Rangers bounce back. Adolis Garcia hitting his 17th home run. And I think Kopech will get into trouble early. Perez, 7 scoreless, 7-2 Rangers over the White Sox.
Wow. I think I'm going to go Blue Jays tonight. They're in Miami. Sandy Alcantara.
5 ERA almost.
Yeah, a 4.97 ERA has given up, I think, 9 home runs this season. 2-5 on the year too.
Has he pitched against the Mets?
I don't think so.
Have you seen any like highlights or things as to why
he's not doing well?
Yeah,
not really. I mean, look at his last 5 games, last 5 starts. He's given up 17 earned runs.
Jeez.
So that's pretty intense, dude. It seems like his strikeouts are down too. One of his starts is 7 Ks against Oakland, but other than that, 1 K against Washington, 3 Ks against Colorado, 3 Ks against San Diego. So, I mean, it just seems like I don't know if he's pitching with an injury or anything like that. I know he had some type, maybe it was like tendonitis or something.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the IL for a little bit. So I don't know if he's just like something's ailing him or something, but he just has not been good. So I just think, you know, against Gossman here in Toronto, you know, their lineup hitting against Sandy here, I think really shouldn't have an issue, unfortunately. And it's obviously Miami doing so well too, 42-32 in the season. But it's just Sandy. It's been a little bit of a blimp in their rotation here. So give me Bo Bichette with his 15th home run of the season tonight off of Sandy. And you know what, dude? Why don't we just make it a grand slam, honestly? Let's say Sandy really struggles here. Gives him maybe 5 innings, 4 earned runs over those 5 innings. Toronto wins this one, let's say 6-2. Yeah. Bo Bichette, first career grand slam.
Wow. It is. I mean, it is just crazy. I guess sometimes pitchers, they'll have like one down season, but he's been so good.
I know.
Even if this year his ERA is 4.5, I think he's still going to be a star long
Do you
term.
think it's just the pressure coming into this season?
Definitely could be. Another struggling pitcher. Last night he had 9 strikeouts over 6 innings, 2 earned, so maybe he's improving here. Dylan Cease, ERA 4.22, has struck out though 100 batters in 85 innings. That's another guy. He's only 27 years old. So you'd expect him to turn it around. And if you look at his last this month, I mean, his ERA is 2.38, and he struck out 32 batters, 22 innings, 15 hits over 22 and 2/3 innings. So maybe he'll be all right. I mean, his ERA was 5.57 in May and 4.88 in April, but it is odd. But I would imagine, let's say he continues his forward trajectory here, but the White Sox fall further back in the standings. He's 27. If he has a great month of June and into the start of July, do you think they'd take a look at moving him?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like that team needs an infusion, and a team that's wasted a lot of talent.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You think about this team, they've been 500, under 500. They never get anywhere.
No, never. I like that. Yeah, they should deal him.
So, it'll be interesting to see, what they do, with that scenario. I know the Mets, they lose yesterday. You pick against them today. It almost seems like, Tony, and I don't want to speak for you, but it almost seems like you're just like, this is it. Like you're done.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's gonna be really tough. I mean, yeah, okay, let's say they make a wild card series. I mean, how confident am I in them in stringing along like consistent starts to win a series, really?
Right.
Consistent at bats to win a series, like slim to none, really. I mean, I understand like you went up against the Astros, who's a really good team. Their best pitcher. It was his best outing of the year. And Verlander limited the damage. It was still able to give you length. You got to figure out a way to hit him, to hit Valdez. Yeah. Like you have to figure out a way to get on base. Like you got to figure something out. And even though, I mean, you had a chance in the 9th, blew it. So it's like, it just seemed like to me, that's like the closest you're going to get. And what is it? It's a 4-2 loss,
Yeah. So, I mean, are you like, let's say, no obligations, you're at home, games on, are you watching?
Or? Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Stop watching.
Yeah. But like, is it like, let's say today, you rally top of the 9th, take the lead, Robertson slams the door, you win a tight, close game, McGill pitches well, Alonso hits a home run, then does that do anything? Or is it like what we've talked about, the weeks of consistency, the jump in the standings? Like
right.
There's a lot to get you even somewhat excited.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if I want like back-to-back sweeps of a series, like that will get me excited.
Yeah.
Like sweeping the Astros and sweeping the Phillies right afterward, that would have been dope. Because it's like you swept the Astros, great team out of your division. You swept the Phillies, bad team in your division. Like we're gaining games here, Miami maybe would lose some games. You can, eliminate the deficit between you and Miami. But I mean, obviously it's not happening. So, but that's what it would take. I think back-to-back sweeps.
Do we know what the upcoming schedule is?
Yeah. So after the Phillies, so we start the Phillies. I guess they're off tomorrow. Start the Phillies on Friday. And then after that, we have we're in Philly, and then Brewers at home, Giants at home. And then we're in July here. So then it goes Diamondbacks in Arizona. And then looks like we're in San Diego and then back home against the Dodgers. And then a little bit of a home stand against the White Sox. So I mean, next few series, again, like this kind of stretch for, a team that you're looking at, like the Mets, I mean, it should be, relatively like we're winning a lot of games in these next few series. Phillies suck. The Brewers is actually a 4-game set at home. Again, you should be able to take 3 out of 4 against the Brewers. I think the Giants too. Take 2 out of 3 against the Giants. Honestly, I'm kind of looking like I would be very stoked if we were going into San Diego against the Padres, having just swept the Giants at home and the Diamondbacks on the road. That would be like, all right, like we're working with some games here. There's still a good chunk of the season left. And at that point, you'll hit Padres and then Mets at home. And then, I mean, we got to be like All-Star break, right?
Yeah.
When is the All-Star break?
Isn't it the second week of July?
I'm trying to look because they have a game. Looks like the Mets start a series against the Dodgers at home on the 14th, 15th, 16th. That's that weekend. And then they have a series against the White Sox. Is it earlier than that? That's a very good question.
Is it in Seattle?
All-Star. I have no MLB 2023. 2023. Tuesday, July 11th.
Is it in Seattle?
Yeah, T-Mobile Park.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, July 11th. So,
interesting, the 11th.
Yeah, it used to be a week earlier, I believe, right?
Yeah. So they have a game, I guess, after. Okay, yeah. So let's go. Yeah. Sweep, 6-game winning streak going into San Diego for the Padres, and
6-game winning streak gets you over 500.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, right
into the All-Star break. If
Yeah.
we're over 500 All-Star break, I'll be excited. And hopefully, maybe again, taking care of business against the Padres would be nice too. I mean, a little revenge spot before the All-Star break.
Yeah, and then maybe they fall further under 500. Who are they going to want to deal?
Exactly.
Somebody that
Juan
rhymes
Soto?
with Roto.
Yeah. Schmon
No,
Schnoto.
I think honestly, you would get so riled if they trade for Juan Soto. I almost think you would go to his debut at Citi Field.
I would love to actually go to a game, dude. And honestly, like I think Soto. I mean, I would give up obviously Vientos, maybe Mauricio, right?
Yeah.
And you got
with the extension. Why not?
Like,
why the
not?
hell not? These guys are not proven.
Yeah, honestly, like Vientos really hasn't proven anything, and Mauricio, the only point I can think of them not bringing him up yet is because he's been doing so well, and they want to keep him as good trade value.
Right.
So, like, they should deal him because again, we talked about it before too. At this point, like, last season trade deadline, Alvarez and Beatty were prime, trade prospects.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, they're everyday players, so you're not
Right.
trading them anymore. You're not. And unfortunately, the moves you've made to double down on certain players, acquire older players already in the league has not worked out. So you're relying on Alvarez, relying on Beatty. The next two guys up are Mauricio and Vientos. So if you deal them for Soto, you get a great outfielder. Tommy Pham can just sit at DH. I'd be really happy with that, dude.
Now, obviously, we just talked about Soto. We talked about how Ohtani, most likely, not going to get moved. Is there anybody that you've been thinking about, in terms of the Mets acquiring, other than who we've just mentioned?
Anyone else
that you've had like
other than Soto or
in the
Ohtani?
back of your mind, like type of
there was a pitcher on Detroit.
Lorenzen?
No, Rodriguez,
Eduardo, former Red Sox.
Yeah,
okay.
I think pretty solid.
Yeah, wouldn't cost a lot.
Exactly, dude. And then we talked about it too before. I know it. You talked about Chapman too. Scott Barlow. I think he's a pitcher you could definitely look at that could definitely help your rotation. It'd be interesting to see too if you can kind of package with Chapman and you have him out of your bullpen. I don't know, man. I mean, I understand Chapman. We've seen so often him implode and such a negative connotation of him in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the other guys coming out of our bullpen. I mean, Brigham, Nogasek. I mean, you got it. It's not. I think Chapman's better than most of them.
And I feel like there has to be internal motivation because that whole end of his Yankee tenure was embarrassing. Not showing up for the workout.
Oh yeah,
roster,
dude, so bad.
Getting removed from the closer role. So that's interesting. I could definitely see that. Eduardo Rodriguez, by the way, 2.13 earned run average this year after a 4.05 last year with Detroit. So
huge improvement.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then one last thing before we close up shop here. I don't know. I just saw this on ESPN.com. I guess the MLB. So I guess it's this weekend. The Cardinals and the Cubs are playing in London, and this is the first time since that Yankee Red Sox series back in 2020.
Right.
But I guess now they want to consider doing Germany and the Netherlands as well. I don't know. Because like the NBA does it, the NFL does it, but I just think, like, I get they want to grow the game, so maybe if you want to do it like once per year, but I just don't like taking away so many home games, so many division games away just to appease the commissioner and to get other countries involved, where it's like, let's be realistic. In no way, shape, or form is a European team going to be part of the major league. So I know you want to maybe grow the fan base, and I know the NFL has this thing with London that they're thinking about. I don't want too much of it. I want it to be very, very limited, one series a year, and adding these other countries, and then I'm sure more will come down. I just don't like that. I don't like taking away home games from teams, and especially Cardinals and Cubs. They're not having great years, but they got good fan bases, good stadiums. I think it's a waste to lose those home games, especially now that we have 6 less division matchups than we did before.
I totally agree, to be honest. I think, again, I guess it's kind of cool. I mean, there's gonna be fans of both teams that are gonna go to England, sure, let's take a vacation to the game. I don't know. I mean, I agree with what you're saying with home games and stuff, and I understand, maybe MLB with the World Baseball Classic and the international tournaments they do and stuff like that. They're trying to get some more juice around the sport, around the MLB. But like you said, I mean, there's no teams forming around there. You're not gonna get really many players from Europe coming over to America to play, I feel. So it just does kind of seem like a waste. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I guess it's cool.
And it's going to happen too, but it's just so annoying. I hated that the Yankees and Red Sox played in London. It's like one of the best rivalries. It's a little different now, but I still think it's great. And to take away a home game, it just doesn't make sense. And Cubs-Cardinals is a great rivalry out west. I know we're not privy to it, Tony, but I think it's just a waste. And it's annoying. And it's like, if they want to have a league over there, that's fine. If you want to do exhibition games before the season, I feel like that's the answer. That's the answer, is to do these spring training exhibition games.
No, I totally agree with that.
So we'll have to monitor that. Ryan McNeil, are you familiar with him?
Yeah, one of my students, actually.
He said, I've seen enough games played at Fenway.
I'll take a month in London.
Very good point there.
That's funny.
Very good there. So you understand, but
very good there.
He's kidding around, and especially when the Sox are going, that he wants to be at Fenway Park and he doesn't want to have to take a cross the pond flight to London.
Yeah. No,
we appreciate him tuning in, though.
Of course, dude. Thank you, Ryan.
Great stuff. Great stuff. So, other than that, anything else you wanted to mention, sir, on the way out?
That's really it. Oh, we did Gaming Corner last night.
Check that out.
Mike, Jason, and I, Super Smash Bros. It was a great time, dude. Over 2 hours of streaming. It was a really good time. We had snacks, did some online. We did some, inter-squad scrimmages, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great time. And it's cool too, because Mike was talking. Metcha does that Super Smash Bros. Tournament. They just did one, and we're trying to get into the next one, dude. As players, rustle some feathers, Brian.
Ruffle some feathers.
Yeah.
So man, just out of it. It was just funny. But if anybody missed that, check that out, as well as yesterday's episode of Screen Time. And not to give you guys a spoiler, but Tony is tight about John Wick 4.
Yeah, a little tight, dude.
And Kino, if anybody's ever
Kino.
But really, another great episode. We couldn't do it without all of you. So we really appreciate you tuning in, continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All the archives on the YouTube page. Tony, Michael, Renee in costume. the merch at downtimetv.com. Today's the first day we could say the summer collection is available. We want everybody, it's first day of summer today. Yes.
Wow, dude.
We want everybody to enjoy the day. Let's go Yankees, and we will see you.
Let's go Mets.
Mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do.